Hello, bonjour.
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 Alors, vous allez bien?
Oui.
Pas trop affecté par la tempête? Oui.
Oui.
OK. OK, quelques annonces avant de commencer. So, we have the causerie today and also on... Oh, Kitty.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to show her. I was trying to adjust my camera.
Kitty cat.
J'adore les minus. We all need study buddies.
Yes.
Okay, so we have the causerie today and jeudi. Just a reminder, please turn up 5 minutes in advance. If someone is late, this allows me to proceed with the next person, so that I'm not running behind. So that's the purpose, because we all want to get these done on time as efficiently as possible, and I would imagine you guys just want to get it over with. Yeah, I know it's nerve-wracking. DJ, when we go to the breakout rooms, you can tell them about yours. Hopefully it wasn't too terrible. So let's see. Also on jeudi, we're not actually going to have class on jeudi. We'll have some time to ask questions because you have a reading and you also have the phrase avec si that we'll be working with today, and you'll continue working with on jeudi. But we're going to get together just to do the partie orale. So you're going to do, for contrôle 10, we're going to do the partie orale on jeudi. I've told everyone that it's mandatory, but it's easy to miss the messages. So if you're in touch with other students in the class, please spread the word. So we'll do that on Thursday. There will be some time for questions. Don't go to the instructions, but don't open the exam because it's going to be timed like all of the others. And I'll be reading the passage to you 3 times instead of 2 times, because I've noticed that it's just a little bit more difficult in this video setting for the words to leave my mouth and get to your ears and be understood. Processing time's a little longer, so I thought, well, I'll read it a 3rd time. That way they can really just listen to it the first time, and then the 2nd time they can start answering some of the questions. True, false as usual. And your écriture is going to be tied to the partie orale. So just do your own work. Don't let Google translate it for you, and this will ensure a good grade. Let's see. Grades. Let's see. Participation et préparation. I believe I've already told you, but we're going to go ahead and drop 14 of those grades from this last half of the semester. That will cover all of the auto-évaluation. So if you've been getting poor scores on those, it's not going to matter. The score will just be as a reference point for you, what you need to study and what you need to review, and it won't be held against you numerically. Control, we're going to drop 1. I might have to do this manually. I'm not sure if Canvas will just drop the lowest score. What I want it to do is drop the lowest percentage grade. So I might have to check this manually, and don't be alarmed. And for the devoir, I may have written this at some point. You may have forgotten. I may have just thought that I wrote it. But we'll be dropping a total of 6 assignments from this category. So 2 activités écrites, 2 activités orales, 2 activités de texte for the entire chapter. Not your daily work, just the entire chapter. So that will cover 1 before the apocalypse, and then the 2nd chapter's worth will cover our confinement, because it's difficult to stay on task, and it's just difficult to do everything online. So I figure with 6 assignments, that's a total of 2 out of our 5 chapters, and that should help even things out. The other thing is, as we go into finals, remember that your score is just a number, and that it may or may not reflect your final grade. So think of it as your minimum. I never lower anyone's grade. Think of it as your minimum score. You've always got the final if scores are low and you're trying to move up. That sort of trumps everything else. And I tend to look for the natural breaks. So most of the time, since I don't give 99s and hundreds, everybody makes a mistake. Everyone can improve. Usually an 88 will get you an A in any of my classes. Sometimes an 85 will get you an A, but a 65 will not magically transform into an 80. So there's some wiggle room. And if you're really concerned, email me. We'll set up online office hours. We can talk about your specific scores privately. I don't like to do it by email because maybe it's not you. You never quite know. But don't obsess about your number. I honestly will do the best I can and I always try to be as generous as possible. So don't obsess about the numbers. I'll worry about that. I always tell students I can't quantify your effort, because believe me, showing up for online class is definitely worth more than 10 participation points. So there are some intangibles that go into calculating the final grades. And, some of you have extra credit. I can't remember who for this section. It's not many because we got cut off so soon. But Canvas won't allow me to add that. I can't just add a grade for specific students without penalizing others. So that has to sort of be calculated at the end. So try not to panic. And if you do have some specific questions, we can discuss we can discuss your own grades privately. But, if it's an 88, it's probably going to be an A. I don't, and so on and so forth, There's usually a clear break. What I look for, usually it goes sort of like 88, and then the next grades will be 84. So that's a clear break, and so on and so forth. So don't worry too much. If you're close enough to if you're within 2% of the next grade, you're probably going to get it. Any general questions about final grades? Yeah, Brittany.
This isn't about final grades technically, but when is our final? Is it the 23rd or is it the 28th?
It's the 23rd.
It's the 23rd?
It's the 23rd. I think we're best done quickly.
Agreed.
Yeah, because the administration doesn't want things to linger, doesn't want to drag out the semester, and neither do I. And I'll be quite honest with you, a lot of times I don't even count the final grade unless you do well. I never said that.
Mum's the word.
Yeah, but I like final exams to count for 15%. In case of disaster, it's not going to drag your grade down. If you have a disaster and it's 20%, it really drags your grade down.
Yeah.
And I do not believe, even though it's departmental policy, that the final exam is 20%. Sometimes I just don't count it unless you do well.
Okay. And how many minutes do we have for the final? Is it still just 50 for the final, or is it a little bit longer?
I think 75.
Okay.
Because it has more sections.
Okay.
I can't quite remember. I did put the writing in as a sort of separate timed exam.
Okay.
because there's a lot of suspicious activity going on. Students that have trouble writing cohesive sentences are coming out with brilliant French, which I know they can't have done themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So do it yourself and you'll get an A on the writing section. Just do your best. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Okay.
We learn by making mistakes.
Mm.
And I know you want to be perfect. There's a lot of perfectionism going on, but that comes later. That comes later. Just answer the question, do the best you can, because I'm expecting a certain number of errors to creep in.
Yeah.
It's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now with your writing. Does it look like they did it themselves? And did they answer the question? And in Contrôle Neuf, it was, did you use information from the book? With this control, it's, did you use information from the partie orale? Which is why we're going to do those together, because you're not going to remember from one day to the next. You're actually going to have until Friday to turn in the partie écrite. And that's going to cover your vocab, the grammar of the chapter, and the culture section.
Okay.
Yeah, we're pushing it. We should be relaxing right now and just doing the causerie in preparation for the final. Instead, we're running flat out till the end. And that's why I wanted to give you guys until Friday to complete the partie écrite. That way, if it's all overwhelming, you have a little bit more time for that. So you can take Thursday and review some material rather than go straight into the written part of the exam. So it's going to be in 2 parts. So that's not a typo. You really do have until Friday night to get it in.
Okay.
If you want to do it Thursday, by all means, go ahead. But if not, you've got some extra time to review.
Okay.
Other questions before we start our lesson? Okay. One more note. I noticed on your labs, not some problems, but just a note on your pronunciation. Between the futur and the conditionnel. So let's take être. For the futur, that's going to be serait, but conditionnel is going to be seriez. So make sure I hear that little E, that seriez. So serait, futur, seriez, conditionnel. And it's the same with avoir and the other verbs. Aurait is the futur and auriez is the conditionnel. Now I can see this when you write it. It's just that don't be afraid to overpronounce it until I'm accustomed to hearing it. Ok, je voudrais réviser un peu le conditionnel passé. Donc, notez bien cette question, vous allez travailler en groupe. Si vous aviez su que le virus arriverait bientôt, qu'est-ce que vous auriez fait, conditionnel passé? Qu'est-ce que vous auriez fait pendant les vacances? Si vous aviez su que le virus arriverait bientôt, qu'est-ce que vous auriez fait pendant les vacances? Qu'est-ce que vous auriez fait pendant les vacances si vous aviez su que le virus arriverait bientôt? Ok, je vais ouvrir la salle breakout et vous pouvez travailler en groupe. Et je répète encore une fois, si vous aviez su que le virus arriverait bientôt, qu'est-ce que vous auriez fait pendant les vacances? Alors, bon, on peut joindre les salles breakout. Bye. Okay, good.
Je serais allée à la plage pour une semaine, mais
Moi aussi, je serais allée à la plage.
oui, mais pas maintenant.
Oui, on n'a pas de choix.
Non.
Et vous autres, qu'est-ce que vous auriez fait?
J'aurais travaillé de boulot.
Oui, tu aurais pu travailler? Tu n'as plus de boulot maintenant?
Répétez, s'il vous plaît.
Tu n'as plus de boulot, le travail, c'est fini?
I'm sorry, my cat is attacking something.
Distraction.
Yes.
Distraction.
Aww.
Et mais qu'est-ce que tu aurais fait pendant les vacances si tu avais su? Si tu avais su, excuse-moi.
Je suis allée en cruiserée.
Oui, tu serais allé en croisière?
Mhm.
C'est une bonne idée. C'est une très bonne idée, mais c'est trop tard pour tout le monde.
Mhm.
OK. Je voudrais continuer avec les phrases avec si en général. Donc, quelques questions. Si tu gagnais à la loterie, qu'est-ce que tu achèterais? Si tu gagnais à la loterie, qu'est-ce que tu achèterais? Si tu gagnais à la loterie, qu'est-ce que tu achèterais?
J'achète, j'achète, j'achèterais, j'achèterais,
J'achèterais
j'achèterais, la voiture.
une voiture, oui.
Mm.
OK. Brittany, elle achèterait une voiture. Et vous autres?
Je payerai pour l'université.
Oui, tu payerais les frais d'université?
Oui.
Oui, bonne idée. Tu es sage. Et si tu allais en France, qu'est-ce que tu voudrais voir? Si tu allais en France, qu'est-ce que tu voudrais voir?
Je voudrais voir le Tower d'Eiffel
Oui, tu voudrais voir la Tour Eiffel?
et le Louvre.
Et le Louvre, visiter le Louvre.
Moi aussi, moi aussi.
Oui.
Oui.
Tu visiterais le
Moi
Louvre
aussi.
aussi?
Et I don't know what the word is, but the catacombs in Paris.
Ah, les catacombes.
Ah,
Les
merci.
catacombes. Oui, j'emmène toujours mes étudiants là-bas aux catacombes. C'est une journée intéressante.
Mhm.
Et si tu pouvais changer de spécialisation, qu'est-ce que tu étudierais? Si tu pouvais changer de spécialisation, qu'est-ce que tu étudierais?
Mm.
J'étudierai la criminologie, peut-être.
Ooh.
Oui, la criminologie.
Oui.
Oui, pour être policière. Et
Euh,
vous, et vous autres pour, ou avocate,
oui.
si tu pouvais changer de spécialisation, qu'est-ce que tu étudierais?
J'étudierai education,
L'éducation,
l'éducation,
oui. Pour travailler avec les enfants ou les adultes?
les adultes.
Oui, les enfants sont difficiles, à mon avis.
Oui.
OK, j'ai une dernière question, une phrase avec si, et vous allez préparer votre réponse en groupe dans les salles breakout. Voilà ma question. Si tu étais super-héros, quels seraient tes pouvoirs? Si tu étais super-héros, quels seraient tes pouvoirs? OK, vous êtes prêts? Si tu étais super-héros, quels seraient tes pouvoirs? Et voilà, les salles sont ouvertes. 2 minutes pour vous préparer. Okay. Okay, we're working right down to the end. Alors, si tu étais super-héros, quels seraient vos pouvoirs?
Je voudrais les pouvoirs de téléportation.
La téléportation.
Mhm.
Moi aussi.
Intéressant. Oui.
Oui, la téléportation est très chouette.
Oh, c'est très utile, c'est très
Oui.
utile. Et Britney, tu as choisi quelque chose de différent?
Je voudrais voler.
Ah, tu voudrais voler. C'est une réponse assez populaire.
Yeah.
Donc, alors, le voilà. OK. Vous avez aussi préparé un texte pour moi. Vous avez lu sur les congés, les vacances et la semaine de travail en France. C'est à la page 386. Page 386. Les vacances et la semaine de travail en France. Comparez la semaine de travail en France à la semaine de travail aux États-Unis. Comparez les vacances en France aux vacances aux États-Unis. Quelles sont les différences? Quelles sont les similarités?
Les Français a pris les vacances plus que les Américains.
Oui, ils ont plus de vacances que les
Oui.
Américains. Combien de semaines de vacances ont les travailleurs français?
Hmm,
Combien de semaines de vacances les travailleurs français ont-ils? C'est plus que les Américains. C'est dans le troisième paragraphe. Combien de semaines de vacances les Français ont-ils?
Moi,
Pas 11 mois. Combien de semaines de vacances?
5.
Oui, ils ont 5 semaines de vacances. 5 semaines de vacances.
Oui.
Et les Américains?
Oui.
Une semaine de vacances?
yeah.
Oui.
Oui, d'habitude, on a 2 si on est salarié.
Okay.
Mais il y a certaines professions où on a 0. Il n'y a pas de vacances. Il y a certains travaux où on n'a pas de vacances. Mais une semaine, peut-être 2. Mais tous les salariés français ont 5 semaines de vacances. Est-ce qu'il y a des différences dans la semaine de travail?
Les Français travaillent moins que les Américains, seulement 35 heures.
Oui, 35 heures par semaine. 35 heures par semaine. Donc, ils ont plus de loisirs.
Mm.
Ils travaillent moins que nous, mais ils sont plus producteurs. They've done studies and they're actually more productive than we are, even though we kill ourselves at the task, as they say in French.
Mhm.
That's hilarious and depressing.
There's a saying, l'homme n'est pas fait pour travailler. L'homme n'est pas fait pour travailler. And they can't email you after hours either.
That's so
Wouldn't that be
nice.
nice if some boss implemented
Mhm.
that here?
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
Some bosses are so stupid.
Yeah, my department head once emailed me at 3 a.m. and wondered why I hadn't
Why were they
replied
even
by
on
8.
then?
You know, I did not
The real
appreciate that.
question
I,
is,
I
Yeah.
used, I
why
used,
were they awake at 3 a.m.?
well, they
No,
have
I wouldn't
children.
either.
They have small
Oh.
children. But the kicker for me
Aw.
was expecting me to have replied by 8 a.m.
Oui.
Okay, now you
Ridiculous.
have, yeah, that I didn't appreciate that. Okay, now I want to look a little bit forward. You've got another text to read, but we're not going to discuss.
Okay.
And it talks mostly about, let me get that off the screen. It talks mostly about the vacances scolaires in the French school year. So these are my 2 favorite French school children, actually my
Aw.
3 favorites. And the French actually have the longest school day in Europe, even though they've made some changes. And their vacation schedule is a little bit different than ours. So for everybody from grade school students to university students, you get 2 weeks at La Toussaint, and you get 2 weeks at Noël, and you get les vacances d'hiver. They're usually at the end of February. Everyone goes skiing. These 2 guys go skiing with their folks.
Aw.
Every year they go to Switzerland and they go skiing. And then the vacances de printemps, they usually just call it the vacances de Pâques because everybody gets another 2 weeks at Easter. Now, the trade-off, of course, for going to school about every 6 weeks and then getting 2 weeks off is that they are in classes. For university students, the school year starts about October 1st and it ends on the 24th of June. So they have a little longer school year than we do. But about every 6 weeks, you've got a 2-week break so you can come back refreshed. And one of the other things that it talks about in the text is about how they want to change that. Now that both parents work, it's not as easy to have these 2-week vacations all of the time. It doesn't fit with everyone's lifestyle. So some regions have actually gone to a different schedule, and then they found out it didn't work and they changed it back. Everyone preferred the traditional way. But one thing is, French school children, even university students, go to school on Saturday. When I was in law school, I had classes Saturday morning, but I didn't have any classes on Wednesday. No one had any classes all day Wednesday because Wednesday was initially for religious education. Now, what happens in grade schools and high schools is that the students go to classes in the morning, and then in the afternoon, they do sports, or they take ballet, or they go to their piano lessons, and it's like a sort of midweek break. But they do go to school on Saturday morning. And they actually reduced the school year by 45 minutes, still the longest in Europe, but they did try. So that's just a little to add to your reading and to sort of give you a preview and fill in some of the gaps. Now, my question for you, how are we doing on the phrase avec si?
I feel like I'm not understanding it. Like, I kind of am, but like when the book, it's kind of confusing me.
Okay, let me go over it just briefly. I know that you're one of the 7 students who watches the videos. Uh, sorry, they took hours to produce, and they're not very
Aw.
good.
No,
But
they are. They're wonderful.
well, I'm glad some of you are watching them. Oh, I have to do share. And now I have to find it. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's just go over it really briefly. Now, we use the present structure and the present future structure to talk about things that are actually going to happen. If this happens, then this will definitely happen. So it's very probable. And the thing to remember about the phrase avec si is that it's like math. It's a formula. We can rely on it. There aren't any exceptions for once.
Mhm.
So we just make our choices there. And what you want to look at is the phrase avec si. The tense in the phrase avec si controls what the tense in the other clause can be. So if the tense in the phrase avec si is present, then we're only going to use present or future. It can't be any other way. Okay, so s'il fait beau demain, je pique-nique au Mont-Signal. S'il fait beau le week-end prochain, je ferai une randonnée. And you're going to choose in that second clause to use present or future, depending on the probability. When you use future, you leave yourself an out in case you change your mind. But it all depends, since this is present in the phrase avec si, s'il fait beau demain, s'il fait beau le week-end prochain, we have no other choices. It must be present or future. And, your intent's up to you. Now, in a similar fashion, we're going to use imparfait and conditionnel to talk about potential results. If this should, it's more like our wishes. If this happened, then this other thing would happen. So, si je gagnais à la loto, we have imparfait in our phrase avec si. So we must use conditional. J'achèterai une nouvelle voiture. And I've given you the second example here because it doesn't matter where the phrase avec si occurs. It can be the phrase principale, or it can be the phrase subordonnée. It can the principal or the subordinate clause. Doesn't matter where it occurs. What we have to look at is the phrase avec si. So if it's si je gagnais, imparfait, we have to use conditional. And it's the same thing with plus que parfait and conditionnel passé. Although, well, let's look at the example. Si j'avais gagné à la loto, j'aurais acheté une nouvelle voiture. I used si j'avais gagné à la loto in plus que parfait because I don't buy lottery tickets. So this is a situation that would never happen just because I don't buy the lottery tickets. J'aurais acheté une nouvelle voiture. So if I had won the lottery, I would have bought a new car. But I don't buy lottery tickets, so this is never going to happen. In the first example, imparfait and conditionnel, I've bought my lottery ticket. So si je gagnais, with this ticket that I've purchased, j'achèterai une nouvelle voiture. But I don't know if I'm going to win the lottery. Now, the last case in which we can use it is this action progressive for the sort of alternative reality phrase avec si. And for that one, I used as my example sentence number 1. Si les Anglais ne s'étaient pas engagés dans la guerre de 100 ans, nous parlerions français en Amérique. Because that's when the linguistic split between French and English occurs. So if they hadn't fought the guerre de 100 ans, nous parlerions today français. So this is this covers Doctor Who and Star Trek and all of those other situations where the future is the past is the future, and it all gives you a headache if you're Janeway fans. And you don't need to worry about this for Friday. I'd like you to know this one theoretically, but I'm not going to ask you to apply it. If there is a question, there will be one, and it'll be on the final. So don't worry too much about this one, except to know that it describes alternate realities that could never happen because the conditions in the past never occurred. Other questions? Okay, I am late for a causerie, so I will see you guys on Thursday. Okay, bonne continuation.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Wow.